What's the saddest meal you've ever eaten? When I was 10, my older sister Megan went missing on a random Thursday in October. She was 14, walked to school like any other day, but never came home. Mom called all her friends. Dad drove around the neighborhood until 3 a.m. By Friday morning, police cars were parked outside our house. For the first week, our kitchen stayed busy. Neighbors brought casseroles. My aunt made sandwiches. Officers drank coffee and asked the same questions over and over. Did Megan seem upset? Was she meeting anyone? Did she have money? Mom answered while Dad paced around our living room, checking his phone every 30 seconds. But after 2 weeks, the casseroles stopped coming. The police visits got shorter. Mom stopped cooking altogether. She'd sit at the kitchen table staring at Megan's school schedule that was still stuck to the fridge with a magnet shaped like a pizza slice. Dad would come home from work and heat up whatever he could find, usually nothing. One night, I got hungry around 9 p.m. Mom was on the couch watching the news. Dad was in his office making more phone calls to people who had no answers. I went to the kitchen and opened the fridge. There wasn't much. Some expired milk, a half-empty jar of pickles, and one slice of cold pizza from 3 days ago when Dad ordered food and nobody ate it. I grabbed the pizza and a warm Coke from the counter. Instead of eating in the kitchen, I walked upstairs to Megan's room. The door was still open. Her bed was unmade from the morning she left. Her backpack was gone, but her favorite purple hoodie wasn't hanging on her chair like it usually was. That's when I first noticed it was missing. I sat cross-legged on her carpet, looking around her room. Her posters of some boy band I didn't know were still taped to the wall. Her desk still had homework she never turned in. Her shoes were lined up by her closet. Everything looked normal except she wasn't there. I took a bite of the cold pizza. It tasted like cardboard. The cheese was rubbery and the sauce was too sweet. But I ate it slowly anyway, pretending Megan was just downstairs watching TV or in the bathroom brushing her teeth. I kept waiting to hear her footsteps in the hallway or her voice calling for Mom. The pizza took me 20 minutes to finish. Each bite was harder than the last. The Coke was flat and too warm, but I drank it because sitting in her room doing nothing felt worse. I kept looking at her bed, imagining her lying there complaining about homework or asking me to get out of her room like she always did. When I finished eating, I just sat there for another hour. Mom never came looking for me. Dad never called my name. The house was completely quiet except for the sound of cars driving past our street. Normal cars with normal families going normal places. I wondered if Megan was in one of those cars, trying to get home. After that night, I couldn't eat pizza anymore. Even the smell made my stomach hurt. When kids at school had pizza parties, I'd make excuses. When Dad suggested ordering pizza for dinner, I'd ask for something else. Mom and Dad never asked why. They had their own things they couldn't do anymore. 3 months later, the police told us they were scaling back the search. They said they'd keep Megan's case open, but they had to focus on other things. Mom cried for 2 days straight. Dad punched a hole in the garage wall. I went back to Megan's room and sat in the same spot where I ate that pizza. Her purple hoodie never turned up. Not in her school locker, not at any of her friends' houses, not anywhere the police looked. Mom kept asking everyone about it, like finding the hoodie would bring Megan back, but nobody had seen it. We moved to a different house 6 months later. Mom said she couldn't live in a place with so many memories. Dad said we needed a fresh start. I never told them that the real reason I hated our old house was because every time I walked past the kitchen, I remembered sitting on Megan's floor eating that terrible pizza and pretending everything was okay when nothing was okay at all.